So I'm not gonna lie, I was slightly confused at the end with this book, but in a good way. I'm like, can that be? Maybe? I don't know. Anyway, my name is Dorian. This is SCM Comics. We are continuing our coverage of From the Ashes, and we are starting our coverage of Phoenix with number 1. So our story starts off with the Phoenix, and she's inside the sun, which the Phoenix can do. Now, we don't know what she's doing in there, but most people are assuming the worst, especially the people on these neighboring planets. And we come to find out that the Universal Church of Truth is still around and is still a thing. Okay, for those of you guys that don't know what the Universal Church of Truth is, it is a group of alien species that worship the One, who is Adam Warlock, but not really Adam Warlock. Let me explain. So the many-angle ones got to Adam Warlock, pretty much turned him evil, and then he goes around calling himself the Magus. So obviously he eventually gets turned back into Adam Warlock. I don't know how, that story was a long time ago. But the Universal Church of Truth is still around, and they go around and they said, you know, Adam Warlock is like Jesus. It's like eventually he's going to return. So the Magus is going to return. So to prepare for his eventual return, they go around the planet to planet. You got 2 choices. You could join the Universal Church of Truth, or you could be subjugated and you will still join the Universal Church of Truth. Now, will the Magus return in this? Gotta hope so, because whew, yeah, he is a character, I tell you what. So after the Phoenix does what she does in the sun, she comes down to the planet. So the dude that's in charge, he's like, it's the Phoenix. I knew you were come to destroy us like you've done so many before. So Jean's like, I'm not here to harm you. Your son was dying and was about to explode and take all you guys out with it. I was able to come and I was able to extend this life. So you're welcome. So now we cut to Ton 618, which is a supermassive black hole. And in that supermassive black hole, somehow, some way, there is a prison called Kylan 2, an intergalactic prison. And we see Nova's back. For those of you guys that read X-Men Red, you guys know what happened to Nova. You know, he got hit by a pestilence and she pretty much put him in a really bad state. Like, I thought he was going to die. Like, he looked like he was dead. But I guess he was just in a healing coma and he came out of it. And who's with him is like, all right, you didn't just come out that coma just to die in this prison, because the black hole is collapsing. And all I'm thinking to myself, because, you know, I'm not smart at all. I'm like, it's a black hole. Isn't that what it's supposed to do? But again, I'm not smart. So pretty much what she's saying is that she wants to get the hell out of here, forget the damn prisoners. And Noah's like, we can't just leave the prisoners. And she's like, these are the most dangerous prisoners in the galaxy, and we don't have anywhere to put them even if we get out of here. So as soon as she says that, there's an explosion. The cell doors open up and somebody says Nova, and we see his Morg. And he's like, I am free. Now, Morg is a former hero of Galactus. So that right there should tell you that this dude is a Haas. But not only that, when he was finally defeated, it took 5 other heralds to take him down. So yeah, this dude's a Haas, and Nova is in for it. And this dude just mugs Nova. But Nova is no slouch himself. He headbutts Morg, and then he punches him using the Nova Force, and he goes flying. So the girl that was trying to talk sense into him was like, you still want that transport? And Nova's like, yes, but I do see your point. We could probably use some backup. So then we come back to Jean, and she is sitting in space talking to Cyclops, who is in Alaska. Now, some of you guys are like, what the hell is Cyclops doing in Alaska? Don't worry, the playlist will be in the description. Unless you're watching this on Rumble. Then, unfortunately, you just got to go to the channel, find X-Men #1. You'll know what's happening. So Jean was like, they were afraid of me, Scott. And Scott's like, they weren't afraid of you, Jean. They were afraid of the Phoenix. And she's like, I am the Phoenix. It's the same thing. Cyclops was like, look, they're just scared of the corruptive power of the Phoenix, and they only probably heard this through stories, so they don't know anything about the Phoenix except for what they heard. So Jean's like, I know this wasn't going to be easy, but it's still surprising to see that a whole planet of people is more scared of me than they were of their son that was about to explode and kill them all. So for those of you that are wondering what the hell's going on and what is the big deal with the Phoenix and why is everybody scared of the Phoenix, when Jean first got taken over by the Phoenix, it was okay. But then her emotions were something that the Phoenix never experienced, and the Phoenix became the Dark Phoenix. It went to a distant universe, it devoured a star, and in the resulting explosion that happened, killed a planet that had billions of people on it. So hence the reason why when the story begins with the Phoenix in the sun, last time that happened, it wasn't good. So anyway, they start talking some lovey-dovey stuff because they are still husband and wife. And Cyclops was like, we never talked about a timeline. And Jean's like, we're not sure about a timeline. I'm just here, and when I feel like coming back, I guess I'll come back. But then she's like, but I thank you for the ship. And he was like, yeah, you don't really need a ship. But she's like, it's a cool reminder of home. But then there's this loud noise that they can both hear, and Jean's like, it's a distress call. And Scott's like, don't apologize, go do what you need to do. And they both say I love you to each other, and Jean takes off. So then we cut back to the supermassive black hole that's collapsing with a prison inside of it, and you got a dude that's banging on his cell force fields like, I don't want to die, I wasn't sentenced to death, please help me, Megas, hear me. We got one true believer. And then he gets kicked in the head, and all of a sudden this dude goes, you don't need a god. Not that one anyway. And the dude's like, Paragus, you got to get us out of here. Now, Paragus is a dark god. They're like the equivalent of Asgardians. They're like evil Asgardians. And yes, he fought Thor, and actually I think Thor cut off his arm. So there's an explosion, because somebody thought that it was a good idea to build a prison inside a black hole. So one dude that got kicked in the head and goes, I did it. My prayers worked. I'm not that far away from the launch pad. And then Paragus goes right behind him, picks him up by his neck and goes, that's good. It'll make my escape a hell of a lot easier. And then he proceeds to kill the dude. So we cut back to Nova. He is down and out. I don't know whether it's the explosions or Morg or the combination of the two. All you hear is, don't die, Nova. Morg wants to kill you. And Nova's like, I couldn't tell. So then Morg is about to give Nova a death blow when all of a sudden he is stopped. And he's like, how? The Phoenix is how? And Jean comes and punches the bejesus out of him. And then starts wrapping him up in all this like metal, like she's Magneto. And Morg is pretty much done. So Nova's like, Jean, you got my message? And she's like, hard not to. You were pretty loud. And Nova's like, sorry, I'm new to this whole psychic bell alarm thing. He's like, all right, well, let me get you up to speed. So Jean's like, this black hole's 3 months to stabilize, and then you want to get hundreds of the most dangerous criminals of the universe to safety before it all falls apart. And Nova's like, and you're up to speed. So Nova's like, I don't know how the hell we're going to transport all these people out of here. And Jean's like, you're not. So Nova's like, but we can't leave them to die. And Jean's like, you don't have to. I'll stabilize the black hole. And Nova's like, stabilize the black hole? Like, you can do that? She goes, well, I just saved a dying sun, so how much harder can stabilizing a black hole can be? And Nova's like, I honestly don't have an answer to that. And she goes, just let me know if anything changes. So then we go to one of the transport ships, and there's a guard in there. Paragus shows up and quickly eats him out of there. So now pretty much Jean is working on trying to stabilize the black hole. And while all this is going on, this is being narrated by, at first I thought it was Jean, but actually it's a girl that's talking about Jean, and she's talking about her in like a glowing light, like she likes Jean. So while she's working on the black hole, all of a sudden somebody's like, Jean, which is Nova, a prisoner escaped. And she's like, I can see the ship. And he goes, it's Paragus, a dark god that wants, she goes, defeated Thor. I know, I'm aware, I'll go and stop him. Well, as she goes to get him, there's another explosion, and she's like, what the hell's going on? And they're like, the prison seems like it's about to explode because the black hole still needs to be stabilized. So now she's left with a choice. She can either let the black hole collapse and go after Paragus, or leave Paragus and deal with the black hole. And in the book, or the girl says she did the human thing, or the Jean thing, which is stabilize the black hole, let Paragus get away. And Paragus crash lands on this planet, which the girl who's narrating the story is from. And it seems like the same planet that Jean just saved from their exploding sun. Don't quote me on it, but it seems that way. And she is the first one to walk up to the ship, and Paragus comes out. It's like, you understand me? She goes, yes. But then her father comes and is like, get away from her. What are you doing here? So Paragus recognizes that this is a Universal Church of Truth planet, and if you remember back in the prison, he really doesn't like the Magus. And he goes, I'm here to answer your prayers. I'm here to set you free. And the girl's father's like, no, we don't need your help, and you should leave. And he's like, no, you definitely need my help. As he takes a knife and stabs the hell out of this dude, which is the girl's father. So Paragus brings death to this world, and as I will find out later, Jean pointed the way. As we see Jean, Corsair, and the Coal Obsidian. Yes, the Black Order. Thanos' Black Order. Like, I don't know what the hell is going on. All I know is that I like it a lot. A whole lot. And on the secret page, which I'm learning all these books have, I kind of messed up on the first X-Men book because I didn't know about the secret page and I didn't include it in my video, but you know, I'll make it for it later. And on this page, it looks like she is fighting Gore the God Butcher, and he has all black the Necro Sword. I'm like, hold on, time out. The Black Order and Gore? Sign me up. Like, yes, I am all in on this series. And the little girl looks like she's all grown up and she got blood on her sword, so looks like she is after Jean too.